Hey, what's up, everybody? Brennan Morse here for Red State. What happens when a social justice warrior or a social justice advocate fails? Well, one thing they do is they lash out, throw temper tantrums, point at other people, blame for everyone but themselves. What they don't do is look at themselves in the mirror, see what they have done wrong, and try to change themselves. They don't learn anything because they are perfect. They have made no mistakes. It is everyone else's fault. That's just kind of how they think. They are the victims. Everyone else is the oppressor. It's the male fault. It's the patriarchy's fault. It's the racist fandom's fault. It's the sexist fandom's fault. Yada yada yada. You've heard this over and over and over and over again. G4TV's fallout continues apace after they closed Frosk, Indiana Black, the person responsible for G4TV's collapse, has decided that she is going to try and get as much attention as she can because there's no other way for her to do so. And she's going to do it by attacking people who don't deserve to be attacked, which is also very typical of the social justice advocate. In this case, however, it is attacking someone who is beloved by the fans. Something that Frosk can only dream of being. Now, when you attack people who don't deserve it, kind of like Keanu Reeves, you're going to have some people come down on you. And by some, I mean a lot. You know, Keanu Reeves is one of those guys in Hollywood who really is one of the good dudes of not just in Hollywood, on the planet. He is one of the people that you want to mimic, you want to be like. Not because he's a successful actor, not because he acts in really cool movies, of course, but because he is legitimately, at his core, a good person. The things that he does it leaves a positive impact on humanity. Another one of these guys is Henry Cavill. Henry Cavill is very unique among Hollywood actors because he's not just an actor, he is also a fan. He is part of the fandom. So he is a famous actor who has played in such shows as The Witcher, where he played Geralt of Rivia, which he recently had to leave. He was also in Mission Impossible. The Man from U.N.C.L.E. He's becoming more and more and more and more famous as time goes on, but not just as a Hollywood actor, but as a nerd, is what's funny. Like, as I said, he is part of the fandom. He is also Superman. He has left The Witcher to do Superman, and there was a reason that he left The Witcher. The Witcher on Netflix was an adaptation of a book, of a fantasy book, that was also made into a very popular video game. And the Netflix show writers did not respect the source material. They didn't really respect the character. They didn't respect the fans. Henry Cavill, being a fan himself, he said he had committed himself to playing Geralt of Rivia, the main character, but said that he would leave if the show did not show enough respect to the source material and the fans, and it didn't, and he left. And now he's gone to play Superman. He's picked the cape back up. Now, not everyone handled this news well, Black being one of them. Black wanted to defend The Witcher show because The Witcher show does, in many ways, reflect that modern audience sentiment that many writers and producers try to force on franchises and brands and characters. And she decided to start calling out Cavill as a problematic person. While many met this news of The Witcher Henry Cavill leaving The Witcher and handing it off to Liam Hemsworth, while many met this news with a mixture of emotions ranging from regret towards the wasted potential of his casting to relief that the actor no longer had to work with such bastardized material, Frosk saw an opportunity to virtue signal. Henry Cavill said some very questionable things around Me Too and dated a 19-year-old as 30 plus, wrote the former X-Play host. Seeing people throw themselves at his feet for The Witcher is weird. The show is whatever at best. I don't necessarily disagree with her on that last part. The show was it did not live up to its full potential. It really didn't. And I think that Henry Cavill was very right to leave The Witcher. as much as I am disappointed that he is going to be out of that show, I'm happy that he is no longer going to be mistreated, or his acting prowess will be mistreated on that show. Frosk's mention of Cavill's questionable Me Too comments is a reference to an interview the actor gave to GQ Australia in 2018. By the way, this is at Bounding Into Comics. Awesome website. I 100% guarantee you, if you go to this site, it'll give you all the celebrity television, comic book news, entertainment, escapism news you will ever need. Asked by the publication for his thoughts on the movement, the Me Too movement, Cavill asserted, "Stuff has to change, obviously," before briefly pausing and subsequently adding, "But there's something wonderful about a man chasing a woman. I think a woman should be wooed and chased. But maybe I'm old-fashioned for thinking that," he continued. Oh no! Pursuing women? Wooing women that you want to date? Oh my word. What a horrible, problematic thing to say. Somebody call Gillette. We need another commercial. It's very difficult to do that if there are certain rules in place, because then it's like, well, I don't want to go up and talk to her because I'm going to be called an R-word or something. He's not wrong. Where is he wrong so far? Today's culture makes it so that men just trying to ask a woman out on a date is like a dangerous affair. He's not wrong. And to be honest with you, I'm pretty sure that there are many women out there. I mean, every woman that I know would agree with Henry Cavill. They like to be pursued and wooed and chased. Not obviously literally down the street, but I mean, let's think about this. If you're sitting there and a guy comes up to you, ladies, let me know in the comments if I'm wrong, by the way. If a guy comes up to you and asks you out or compliments you, buys you a drink, or you're out on the street and he just comes up and, he's a handsome looking dude. He looks like pretty normal. He says, "Hi, I saw you. I'd love to get to know you better." Do you think that that's a bad thing? I know many women who would be flattered. And even if they did say no, then okay, but they still go to their friends and like, "Today something happened to me and it made me feel really good." I don't know many women who don't want to be pursued. I don't know any woman who wakes up in the morning and says, "Man, I really hope a guy doesn't come up and compliment me today." Seems a little silly. By the way, Indiana Frosk is a lesbian. So I don't know why she's talking about this problem, quote unquote, when she doesn't have a dog in this fight. Now, he posited, now you really can't pursue someone further than no. It's like, okay, cool. But then there's the, "Oh, why'd you give up?" And it's like, well, because I didn't want to go to jail. He's not wrong. He's not right. It's dangerous nowadays to try to pursue a woman. Now all of a sudden it's creepy. Now all of a sudden it's bad. He's not wrong. Meanwhile, her mention of him having dated a 19-year-old refers to Cavill's ex-girlfriend, Tara King, a British woman with whom he shared a brief relationship between 2015 and 2016. Okay, so what? It's two consenting adults. Okay, I don't see the problem here. She's 19, he was in his 30s, big deal. Older men date younger women all the time. In fact, it's a natural dynamic. There's nothing weird about that. Frosk did go on to defend this because some guy named Jake Randall, he's a YouTuber, he said, "So he was in a consensual adult relationship? Horrifying." And she responded by saying, "Weird way to out yourself. As someone who is 31, I can't imagine ever dating a teenager. We are in vastly different life stages. So while it may be legal, most of these relationships are pretty icky with power imbalance." That seems, I don't know if that's true. I don't know if that's true. Most women like to date men who are older than them and more established. That's not. Frosk seems to be, like most other things, completely lost. I would go to Bounding Into Comics to check out the entire back and forth that she had. I'm not going to go over all of it. But I wanted to show you this part because I thought it was very interesting. Finding herself on the losing end of the very discourse she had sparked, Frosk then proceeded to justify her shaming of Cavill on the grounds that he briefly dated former The Mandalorian star Gina Carano. It is big yikes energy, declared Frosk. Okay. First off, there's nothing yikes about dating Gina Carano. All right? Nothing. Gina Carano is also a really great person who has won the hearts and minds of the fandom. And do you see what's happening here? Do you see the pattern? Frosk is angry. She's clearly very angry. She's lost her job because of the fact that no one will buy her nonsense. They're not signing on to her social justice advocacy. They're not buying that they should be guilty of sexism and therefore owe Frosk anything. They're not being manhandled into a fandom. They're not being convinced by these socio-political arguments that only appeal to angry people, to angry feminists, to hard left ideologues. She's not winning people over. And yet, Henry Cavill, a man who appreciates and respects the fandom, and Gina Carano, a woman who also has respect for the fandom, who loves the fandom and the fandom loves her, but also is an individualist who does not sign on to social justice politics. They have won the hearts and minds of the fandom. People love them. Everything they do, they have giant herds of people following them around. I watched Drunk C3PO's video of Gina Carano signing autographs and taking pictures, and the line was unbelievably long. Anything that Henry Cavill does, people just automatically flock to. The news that he picked up the Superman cape again was met with a ton of celebration online. And I noticed a lot of people, while disappointed that The Witcher wasn't going to have him in it anymore, were like, yeah, I understand. So it seems to me that Frosk is lashing out at people who the fandom loves because that is not love that she could force for herself. Her ideas brought down an entire organization. Her ideas are being rejected out of hand. Her ideas cause division and hatred. Her ideas are unpopular, which she can't stand because these ideas are supposed to be popular. She has the moral high ground after all. She's a radical feminist and a lesbian and a social justice advocate. She's supposed to be the good guy, but she's not the good guy. She's not. And that goes for everybody who thinks like Frosk. They are not the good guy. This is why there is a complete lack of support for Frosk, with the exception of this one little group, this very loud but small group. Everyone else is siding against her. You can go right now to her Twitter and see it. People do not like Frosk. They make a habit of making sure that she understands that what she has done is absolutely wrong. It's like correcting a child. And to be honest with you, what I'm noticing right now is very childlike behavior from Frosk. She is going out there and lashing out and throwing temper tantrums because she's angry that she has not won the hearts and minds with her divisive ideology that Henry Cavill and Gina Carano have with their respect and love for the fans and the source material. And I have a prediction. I think that Frosk is going to continue to act like a child who is desperate for attention and will do anything at all costs to get it, including negative attention. And she will continue to do this over and over and over again. And each time she does, people are going to pay less and less and less attention to her. Frosk is going to fade away, much like many of the social justice advocates who like to call fans and nerds and game culture and all these other subcultures problematic, sexist, racist, yada, yada, yada. Kind of like Anita Sarkeesian. She'll eventually fade into the shadows and just be a bad memory. That will be her legacy. That's it. And you know what? If she keeps this up, she'll deserve it. She will be a lesson in what not to do. Meanwhile, Cavill and Carano will live on in many people's memories and in their hearts, and will go down as really great stories. Really great actors who respected the fans, who respected the source material, who were just normally good, decent people. That's what they're going to go down as. Frosk will be forgotten, but they won't. That's her legacy, and she deserves it. Hey, give this video a like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.